What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to the channel. First things first, I ran a poll yesterday asking what video you all wanted to see today, and the top 10 tips and tricks for new players in Dungeon Defenders 2 did win that particular poll. However, I did not get the video done yet, so it will be out late tonight. So check back later on today on the channel, and it will be there. But for right now, we are going to take a look at the Elvish Artillery Cannon. So this, of course, is one of the defenses from the newest hero, the Mercenary, in Dungeon Defenders 2, and it's quite the fan favorite. Not necessarily because of its absurd power, although it does have absurd power, but more so from its cool factor. I mean, come on, the thing looks cool as hell. In my opinion, probably the coolest looking defense in the game, no doubt about it. Now, this being said, remember any tower type defense. So you place your defense down that you like, you inspect it, you see tier 1 tower there. Any tower type defense is going to be extremely powerful in Chaos 8 content. So use what you want. You don't have to go with what I'm using in this video, as you're going to be able to mix it up and do anything you want. So let's go ahead and build this Elvish Artillery Cannon out. Now, first things first, we do have the critical allocation shard. It increases the defense crit damage of the EAC by 46% and crit chance by 21%, but lowers the tower's range. This is a extremely powerful shard. Goes in quite nicely with just about any setup here. We're going to leave that down there in that third shard slot. Now, of course, as with any damaging defense in the game, we want a 10 out of 10 Chaos 8 tier or higher defense rate servo. Now, we're losing a little bit of range from critical allocation, so we can make that back up with going with a mod. So defense rate, Piercer Servo, and defense range. This is a projectile tower, so Piercer Servo is going to be quite nice. Defense rate does have to be 10 out of 10, or you're going to have to use a defense rate shard along with it to get to that speed cap. So you're going to want a 10 out of 10 Chaos 8 defense rate on this bad boy. Piercer Servo, however, can come in any tier. Now, obviously, you're going to want a 10 out of 10, but the thing with Piercer Servo is the projectiles are still going to pierce. Even if you have a 1 out of 10, they're just going to do reduced damage versus those shielded mobs. However, still more than enough to get the job done. So we've got defense rate here. What do we do with our 2 shard slots? Well, that's kind of a no-brainer too, as the reason you go with defense rate there is so you can do the double stack. So we're going to go with mass destruction and destruction to fill in those last shard slots. Now, taking a look at this map, though, we're going to build this map a straight-up spawn camp. So with that in mind, we don't need that extra range. So then, as long as we have Piercer Servo and Defense Rate Servo on any other relic, we're going to be able to throw that in and get a little bit more benefit. So for this case, I'm going to add in some anti-melee, and we're going to get that on there with Piercer Servo and Defense Rate Servo. So just because you build a relic for one particular hero or one particular defense doesn't mean you can't pick it up and put it somewhere else. So by all means, you don't have to build every single hero out. You only have to have gear on what you're using on that map. So swap your stuff around. Enjoy as many defenses as you can. So set up 2 or 3 relics. Call it good. That's all you're going to need, as you just don't need to have a million defenses down on every map. So let's go ahead and get our spawn camp all set up here. I think we're actually going to start up with a reflect beam just to make this a little bit easier to build here. So I'm going to go like right about, say, there. And we'll get a 3-node reflect beam down just straight across the front there. Then we're going to go ahead and get our EACs in. Let's go ahead and slap it right at the end here. And then we got some protection. I'm a little worried about the hex throwers on this one, being we are spawn camping it, because hex throwers, of course, do like to throw from spawn protection. So they will toss, or they could potentially toss at those guys from right there. So trying to avoid any travesties with those hex throwers. Then, of course, with every other build, we're throwing down a destructive pylon and then some sort of buff. So we're going to use the boost aura here. Now, there's been some confusion on this lightning strike aura. The lightning strike aura is not buffing anything. The destructive pylon shard that's on the lightning strike aura is. Now, I choose to use it on the lightning strike aura. You can put it on whatever you want. Like in this particular setup, we could pretty easily just throw it on the reflect beam and it would be all good. A lot of people use it on proton beams. A lot of people use it on oil geysers. I'm putting it on a lightning strike aura just because it's a 20 DU defense that I can slap down just about anywhere. So let's go ahead and rinse and repeat. Do the exact same thing on all 3 lanes and then see what we got left over. It actually looks like we're going to be a little bit shy on the DU with this particular build. So we're going to want to change things up on our final lane here. Or we could just move that destructive pylon over to our reflect beam, which is probably the smartest choice here. But since I've already got it built, I am just going to run with it here. Let's go something like that. And that's going to leave me what? We got to get our destructive pylon down and our boost aura down. That leaves me 260, which actually might be enough. Let's see here what we got. Let's go with our reflect beam. We'll get it up front right away. Do we want to do the same thing? I think the placement was alright on that, so we'll go right at about that line there and just go right across on the edge as far as we can get it over. And then that leaves me 230. So, yeah, we're not going to have enough. We're going to be a little light on the DU here, so we're going to have to make a decision. What do we want our decision to be? We got 50 left. We're 10 DU short. I think our decision is going to be we're going to shorten up our reflect beam. So I think the smartest move here would have been just to move the destructive pylon over to the reflect. But I'm way too lazy for all that. So let's just shorten up our reflect beam and we'll just go with a little tiny baby one right here. Now hopefully this is going to give us some level of protection here, although it is just not much. You see our EAC in the middle is fairly well protected, but that one there is just in bad shape. But there we go. We got 800 DU spent. We're not going to blow anything on upgrades. Let's just let it fly and look at the power of the EAC here. Oh, it is just pure devastation, no doubt. They're going to get on those flyers. I do wish their fire rate was a tiny bit quicker, maybe. But they do have an amazing cool factor, and they're quite productive. Now, would this be your initial go-to defense? Well, if you like it, sure, why not? For me personally, I don't think the coolness factor would win versus some of the extreme AFK potential that comes along with like a Poison Dart Tower and an Earth Shatter Tower combination. So I could easily get that in with the amount of DU I'm spending here. So I personally would choose something a little bit more base hero friendly because I feel like it's going to be a touch more powerful for me personally. Now, of course, any tower type defense is viable in Chaos 8, so use what you like, of course. As you see, the EAC is capable of getting it done. So with Wave 1 being just a complete smackdown steamroll, let's just go ahead and jump on forward to Wave number 5 here. And here we go in wave number 5. Now, building this close to the spawn, not gonna lie, the kobold flyers are quite scary. They're getting uncomfortably close. However, they haven't gotten a dive bomb off yet, so they're not flying into anything. Let's check it out, wave number 5. Those kobold flyers are scared me a little bit, building right up front here. Of course, one kobold dive bomb into the ledge right here is going to destroy that entire lane. So definitely something to watch for. We see, well, that one wasn't an issue. If the enemies on the ground get cleared fast enough, then the flyers, of course, just get devastated right away. But when there's a big pack coming out and there's a Cobalt rolling out, oh yeah, it gets a little bit unnerving as the enemies are pushing in here. But we are getting it done with the Elvish Artillery Cannon. Like I said, just absolutely amazing cool factor. It just looks awesome. They definitely did a great job with the art style on this. I'm not sure who the artists were that worked on this one when these were actually created way back in the day, but they are pretty darn cool looking, that is for certain. So Assassin's just getting peeled off. We'll throw a little heal here, because why not? We're not contributing at all in this run other than just running around and checking out the fireworks show. So good stuff to be had here in the Unholy Catacombs with the Elvish Artillery Tower. We got a little stuck mob there at the end. Imagine that. Is it going to die? There we go. We got it down. But there was the Chaos 8 Unholy Catacombs with the Elvish Artillery Tower. So that will do it for now. Thank you all an absolute ton for watching, and I will be back later today with that top 10 tips and tricks for new players in Dungeon Defenders 2. But thanks again, y'all, and I will see you next time. Take it easy.